What sound does a cat make? Meow. Very good. Okay, what sound does a cow make? What does a cow say? Moo. Moo. What sound does mama say? What does mama say? No.
Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Every breath you take and every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you every single day, and every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you. Oh, can't you see you belong to me? How my poor heart aches with every step you take, every move you make, every vow you break, every smile you fake, every claim you stake, I'll be watching you.
Good morning, Morgan County. Woohoo! It is time for our Positive Podcast. From the Morgan County Partnership with our hosts, I'm Mrs. Hott. I'm the Positive Actions and Digital Media Facilitator. Today, our Positive Podcast is called Parenting Pandemic Days, Role Models.
Hi, hola, es hora de acción positiva. Hi community, I am Mrs. Sheima, Morgan County Partnership Positive Actions and Digital Media Facilitator.
Hi, Miss Sheima. Welcome back. It's 2021. Are you ready for a new year?
For sure, I can't wait. We were like done with 2020.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm so glad you said that, because today for our podcast, we got some neat positive actions to talk about, some resolutions for 2021, and resolutions that are easy, ones that we'll have through the whole year, I promise. So, neighbors, the Morgan County Partnership, we join you weekly for an exciting look at positive programs, news, and features to help build empathy, to foster core values, health, and family wellness in our homes, community, and around the world. Yes, and positive family wellness with role models. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, and whether you are 2 or 92, each new Partnership Positive podcast, we will feature fun and exciting information to help you manage and balance life here in Morgan County to West Virginia and beyond.
Beyond, right. We are so ready to discover a new positive core value each week that help builds a network of neighbors working together for our community, helping each other to get through another day with resources to connect and to meet our basic needs. Let's do it. Let's get started. like we said, today's positive podcast is called Parenting Pandemic Days, Role Models. Wow. Dun, dun, dun. I have a really great video to share. And neighbors, today is another special podcast. Thanks for listening and joining us. And also remember, if you're listening, if you like, you can also watch on the Positive Actions YouTube channel too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, let's take a look at families and talk about how we can be role models for our kiddos.
That's a great idea, Miss Sheima. I know a lot of times we look at role models and we try to think of famous actors or athletes or something, but we're all at home right now. And right now it's so important that we as parents and families, that we're good role models for our kids and for each other. You know what happened? I read this article, okay? Just the other day I saw it, and it was a really great article from the Huffington Post to help parents in 2021 during this stressful COVID time. And when our positive value word role models came up, it kind of hit me right here in the heart. It's like, now more than ever, we need our kids to see us being positive role models to them. So when they have a crisis or situation or anything, they can use us by an example, right? Mm-hmm. So here's what I thought, Sheima. For today's podcast, let's really look at this article and share it with our neighbors. The article is called 2020 Was Relentless for Parents, wasn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. In 2021, it's time to put ourselves first. All right, parents, that's you guys, okay? In order to be a role model for our kids, for our families while we're home. I know our schools are home for at least another week. We need to put ourselves first a few times so we can be better role models, right? So let's take a listen. This is by Catherine Pearson, and Ms. Pearson provides 5 resolutions to help parents be better role models during this crazy COVID time. Are you ready? All right, Ms. Sheima, I'm going to read to you what she talks about her experience with the pandemic. Let's get started. Ms. Pearson says, like so many of our fellow parents, my husband and I have gotten almost eerily adept to raising kids during the COVID-19 pandemic. Things that once seemed utterly inconceivable, like the fact that millions of American kids have not stepped foot in a classroom for 10 months, now feel routine. My husband and I know how to get through simultaneous Zoom meetings while we're watching over a kindergarten class and while we're taming a wild toddler with the camera off. I think that's funny. Yeah. Imagine all that, Yeah. And I picture that too, because here in my house, we balance multiple high school Zoom meetings going on, right? I don't have a toddler in the house, but our Zoom school here at home, we have band rehearsals, we have drum rehearsals. It can get pretty crazy too. So I can empathize. I know how she feels. How about you guys, neighbors? You know how she feels, Sheima? Mm-hmm. Oh, I do. Now, the writer says they are fortunate. None of them have had COVID-19. What a blessing. And my husband and I are still employed. But, am I burnt out? And I'm not alone. 70% of American parents report that their family responsibilities are a significant source of daily stress, while 60% say they are extremely stressed out by the economy, according to the American Psychological Association. Parents aren't complaining. We are exhausted. I felt that a lot lately. Y'all feel tired? Yeah. Me too. Yeah, we are exhausted. We were prepared to take care of our kids, and we love to do it, but we weren't prepared to take care of our kids while working full-time and overseeing 6 hours of remote school a day with little to no outside support and coping with a pandemic and a recession. Fortunately, brighter days are around the corner. And I like this part. Multiple COVID-19 vaccines are becoming available, and a majority of Americans could be inoculated by the spring or summer. Yay! But guys, mental health experts who specialize in parenting warn against simply continuing to white knuckle it through this next stretch. We parents need to find ways to take care of ourselves while we take care of our kiddos. And I feel, Miss Sheima and neighbors, we got to take care of ourselves so we can role model and be an example for our kiddos. How do we do that? Let's keep listening. So personally, my New Year's resolution is to find small ways to put myself as a parent first. Sometimes we feel guilty when we do that. Do
Yeah,
you, Sheima?
definitely. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm like guilty. It's my world.
Yeah, no. And it like fills up my day. It's like, okay, I got to do this for this and this, keep going. And it's sort of helped me like with the long days at home and being in isolated, we take care of everybody. But caretakers need to take care of themselves too. And parents, it's positive for you to do these steps in order to be good role models so your kids see how they will help themselves as well. Now, the writer says, I like the way Claire Nikogoshian, a clinical psychologist and author of Mama, Are You Enough? How to Create Calm, Joy, and Confidence Within the Chaos of Motherhood. I want to read this. She frames it. In 2021, parents need to focus on replenishing our parent reserves. It's not a luxury, she said, in the same way that realizing it's been hard to parent during a global pandemic isn't winning. Okay? It's not a luxury, guys. It's a must. All right, guys? It's a must. Finding your parent preserve is a must. She continues, as we head into the final stretch, hopefully, of this pandemic, what is required is for parents to take agency over their health and well-being in small, tiny moments that build each day to slowly replenish all that has been depleted. So here's how to make New Year's resolutions that are all about simply taking care of ourselves in small but very necessary ways. All right. Okay, neighbors, parents, are you ready? Did you hear that? Sheima and I are going to share with you ways to take care of yourself in small ways so that we can be better role models for our families. Are you ready, Sheima? What's the first one say?
The first one says, limit your resolutions to the only things you actually have any control over, your own thoughts and your own choices.
That's a good one. I know a lot of us on New Year's resolution, we want to do the big things, right? But she says to limit only to the things you actually have control over. Now, let's continue. 2020 was a harsh reminder for many of us that we have very little control over our lives, right? In fact, the only two things humans really have control over are our own thoughts and our own choices. And I love that, Sheima, because isn't that we talk about all the time? It starts with your thoughts. You can control your own thoughts, okay? Kate Crypt, a clinical social worker and founder of Colorado's Postpartum Wellness Center of Boulder, told this to the HuffPost. Over the past year, we parents have thrown ourselves into taking care of our families like never before, partly out of necessity, right? Hello, remote school, good. Yeah. But also partly because it helps many of us feel like we've got power over the things happening outside of us, Kripke says. As we head into 2021, she urges parents, that's you guys, okay, to try to slow down and focus inward. Acknowledge that there are huge stressors right now, and we simply can't control all of them. The pandemic is stressful. Losing a job, worrying about family health, these things are stressful. The trick is for us to find ways to acknowledge that while also making ourselves what the thoughts and choices I can make that are simple and easy, that can make it more likely that I'm going to start feeling better. Okay? So as you think about any resolutions, community, as you think about any resolutions heading into next year, ask yourself this: are these thoughts or personal choices I can actually have some control over? Or am I trying to take on outside stressors that could just leave me spinning my wheels and even more depleted than before? And also, if you find yourself dealing with levels of stress or sadness that you can't get a handle on, that's really beyond the scope of basic self-care practices, and you should reach out to a mental health professional who can help offer you support. And I want to share that as we come into 2021, neighbors, you know, our community has great resources. If it gets to be too much, we need to acknowledge it, and that's okay. The partnership has social workers. There are people in the community to talk to. Don't let it overwhelm you, okay? People here, we can get through this together. I know, you know what? For me, guys, Sheima was away for the holidays, and I feel so much better just seeing her back, and we're able to connect and just getting to chat with someone. It's sometimes you feel overwhelmed, but when you recognize I'm feeling overwhelmed right now, what can we do? What positive actions help me manage that stress and be a better role model for my family? All right, what's our next resolution?
Resolution option number 1. Breathe deeply 3 times a day.
Oh my gosh, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I read this the other day, and in the middle of the night, I woke up panicked, and I'm like, oh gosh, what should I do? You know what I did? I remembered this, and I breathe deeply 3 times a day. And you know what, guys? Not just the middle of the night, but remembering, like when I'm in the house and I'm like dinner and laundry and all this kind of stuff to do, and I'm like, oh, what else can happen? And work? I'm like, hey, just take it. And after just a minute of deep breathing, I'm ready to move on. It kind of directs me and gets me on my way. Now, resolution number 1, breathe deeply 3 times a day. It sounds so simple, but I tried it and it works. Have you ever tried that, Sheima?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Helps a lot calm your thoughts.
Yeah, it helps calm your thoughts. And for me, when I feel my heart racing really fast, actually, I also read this on Dr. Julie Smith that we talked about. She says, if you feel your heart racing really fast and you're feeling that's anxiety, just a simple deep breath and you can work yourself through it. Let's see what the HuffPost says. With all that in mind, here's one simple and tangible and free self-care technique to consider in 2021. Commit to 1 minute of intentional breathing. Then do it 3 times a day, once in the morning, once midday, and once in the evening. It's not like all of a sudden we're going to create these moments when you feel like the Zen mama of the world. That's not the goal, Kripke said. A lot of people, when I talk to them in my office, say, I don't have time to meditate every day. And I couldn't do that either. And I say, I'm not asking you to meditate every day. I'm really not. You're already breathing. It's already happening. I'm asking you to take 3 minutes when you're being more intentional and expanding your breath. Breathing that way feeds your brain more oxygen, which really should make you feel better immediately, Kripke added. And research shows that over time, it can change your brain up to a point. Isn't that cool? 3 minutes of deep breathing is not going to make COVID suddenly not suck or your kids not a pain in the neck because they're all home at one time, Kripke said. That's a bit of a myth, that life is going to feel easier if we're doing these practices. But that's not actually the goal, is it? The goal is to allow us to handle stressful situations better, not to make them go away. So this situation will still be there. You'll just be able to handle it better. And the breathing does calm your heart rate too. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that. It's good for your brain. And what's next?
Resolution number 2. Focus on quality hangout time with your kiddos.
Oh, I love this one. Quality hangout time with your kiddos. You know what? Violet was home over break, and we had every day our family dinner, great hangout time after a meal, just sitting at the table and talking. It was so much fun. Let's see what HuffPost says. Personally, I find the idea of spending more time with my children that I already do right now exhausting. But Nikogosian believes it can actually be an important way of letting go of personal judgment. If you've been feeling a lot of guilt about how you've been parenting, I want you to answer this question. How much quality time having fun and enjoying your child's company, doing an activity together, have you been able to do? Nikogosian said. Not time spent cleaning, overseeing remote learning, telling them to do the chores, etc. Real quality time, then add it up. This is not to make you feel more guilty, but give you perspective, Nikogosian said. Often we as parents spend so much time in the supporting roles of parenting, we lose out on the fun, quality time moments, the fun stuff. Whatever number you land on, try and tack on 15 more minutes throughout a day, or even especially if that means you have to drop other things, such as washing the dishes or yelling at your kids to finish that last page of your workbook. Spending that kind of quality time with your kiddos can actually be a way to take care of ourselves by remembering the good parts of parenting.
Yeah.
So I feel like, Sheima, she's saying, take just 15 minutes just to connect on some other level that's not about chores or homework, right?
Yeah.
Something that interests your kids. And isn't that a beautiful way to be a role model to your child? Like look, my family, they respect me and what I want to do to make it about my interest and something that's not related to work. I think that's important. And if our kids would do that with us, we do that for them. Just think how they'll learn to do that for others too. I see like a lot of good quality time on your Instagram when you have pictures with Pedro and Ithaca and just like reading a book. And, what else can you do that says it tells that person in your family that they are valuable. I treasure you.
Wow. Sorry.
Go ahead.
The other day I saw this on Instagram. It's a post really fun that I think everybody should see it, that says, children don't say it. I had a hard day. Can we talk? They say, will you come play with me?
Uh-huh.
That's the way that we can calm them down and tell them, I am here for you. And I take care for you. I think it's really nice. Yeah.
That's beautiful, Sheima. It's just be with me, right? Yeah. And parent, be that role model and just be with them. Even if it's 15 minutes and it's not homework, just be with them. Cool. And, we have lots of time. We're all home with a pandemic. We're given a blessing to be that role model. Let's do it. What's next, Sheima?
Resolution option number 3. Squeeze a few extra minutes of rest.
Of rest. I'm home all the time and I'm more tired than I've ever been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Squeeze in a few extra minutes of rest. Wow. Okay, HuffPost says this. Another simple one. As you head into 2021, Kripke suggests asking yourself, what is one choice I can make that can add a little bit of sleep or rest to my life? And you really can just think of it as time in bed. Sometimes people start to get stressed because they can't sleep, or because, I don't know, we're in the middle of a stressful and frightening pandemic, right? But Kripke said that even just lying down can help. I really want people to understand the value of rest and restoration for our bodies, she said, adding that it isn't just for your mental health. Getting a sufficient amount of sleep supports the immune system, which can boost a person's ability to fight off infection, whether it's COVID-19 or something else. Hey, how about that? Yep, just a little bit of rest. We all need that. So
it's hard, this one. I'm thinking of myself, and for me it's hard because if I have like a lot of dishes to do, or laundry, or picking up toys, or preparing lunch, meal prep, or something like this, I feel like I can't sit down in the couch for 5 minutes if I have the house, all of this. So
really,
it is hard for me. It's hard to find 5 minutes for just rest.
Right. And she's saying, don't give yourself that guilt. You deserve the rest, because look at all that stuff you just listed that you're thinking about. It'll get done.
Yeah.
It can get done after you rest, right? Why does it have to be right now? But I think, we've been like programmed to go, get it done, go. All right. Now the pandemic's made us stop. All right. Let's make a resolution. Take advantage of the stop. Let yourself rest. There's only today. It'll be there tomorrow. All right. Oh, there's another one. What's next, Sheima?
Oh, yeah. The next one, resolution option number 4, and it is connect.
How do we do that? Connect in isolation. Let's see what the HuffPost says. A common problem for people during the pandemic, Kripke said, is that our brains tend to embrace all or nothing thinking. So we think, for example, if I can't connect with people in the way I'm used to, then I'm going to be isolated. And then we start to get anxious, right?
Yeah.
But small acts of connection, looking someone in the eye, saying hi to a neighbor across the street, a text or a phone call, those little things are like a raft. They can save someone. One possible resolution could be to make sure you're having one real moment of connection each day, every day. Again, keep it simple. Chat with a colleague at the end of a Zoom meeting instead of just signing off, for example. There you go. That's kind of fun. Hey, we got our work done. Let's just say, how are you? Right? I know last week a colleague from the partnership needed some help, and we were getting her materials together, and she was getting frustrated. So in the middle, I just texted, how you doing? And she stopped, and then she's like, oh, thanks for asking. I'm like, oh, good. But I read it here. I did, so try that, I didn't realize I read it there, but I guess I did. That's pretty cool. So connect. How can you connect with the coworker? A chat, a text. Alrighty. We're not looking for extraordinary measures, Kripke said. And most of us will feel better pretty quickly in that moment when we access that kind of connection. So quick kind of connection. And that's the end. So what were those steps? I want to go back and say, we just list them off here. What was the first thing? Oh, the first one was don't make something that's too big, right? First, limit your resolution to the things you actually have control over, okay? You control your thoughts, all right? Your own thoughts and your own choices. Don't make it big and grand, okay? Be easy on yourself. We all deserve to take it easy on ourselves, right? The next one was breathe deeply 3 times a day. Then focus on quality hangout time with your kiddos. Squeeze in a few extra minutes of rest. I love that one. And finally, simply just connect. All right. Well, Sheima, I hope that was helpful. What do you think?
For me, it was so helpful. Thank you for sharing that, Mrs. Hott.
Cool. Well, I thought it was a good article. And neighbors, I hope you find some tips in there that you don't feel like you've got to conquer the world all in one day. And that it's January and sometimes I feel like, what's going to happen? Is it going to get worse? But you know what? It's going to get better. There's light at the end of the tunnel. I feel there's a vaccine coming out. Hopefully people are social distancing and wearing that mask. And I do know once I saw that the governor here in West Virginia, I'm not sure what state all our neighbors are in, but once he said 2 more weeks at home, which I feel is necessary.
It is.
I think that the parents, you're doing a good job, parents. You got this. And maybe with these things, it'll help us all get through it together, right? Are you ready? Well, it's almost time to go. We've got someone we want you to meet here in a minute, but first we'll get closed off here. Sheima, go ahead.
That was awesome, neighbors. Thank you all for joining us. From 2 to 92, young and old, it's been fun podcasting with you today. We hope you find some positive actions out in the world this week. Bye.
Thanks, Sheima. And remember, parents and kiddos alike, you're not alone, all right? We are one. We are one neighborhood, one community from Morgan County, West Virginia, and beyond, okay? And around the world, right? And I want to close with this because I haven't got to say it yet in 2021. You are unique. You are important, and you are wonderfully made, neighbor. Remember that. Thank you all for joining us today on the Parenting Pandemic Days Role Models. And we hope, it's our hope and our prayer that this blesses you in some way, that if you're feeling overwhelmed, you might say, oh, and in an instant say, hey, I just got to breathe. And if that second helps you, I hope that it does. Now, neighbors, to close, we will meet just briefly for today another possum role model. And this is kind of fun. I'm excited about this because this role model will be joining us soon on PositiveValuesNetowrk.com. And she's going to read a special book for us, for our students. And the book is called Beautiful. And I saw the cover. It looks amazing. Now, our special guest role model coming soon is Stephanie Golden. Now, some of you might remember she was a runner in high school, and her mama works at the school board. And currently, she's a junior. I'm not sure what she's studying. When she comes back, we'll have to ask her. But she does go to West Virginia University. And Stephanie is also Miss University, where she's competing for the Miss West Virginia pageant.
Wow.
So today, let's say hi to Stephanie and then come back next week because she's going to come on our podcast and talk with us about role models and about diversity and body image. I'm excited. Isn't that cool?
I'm excited too.
Yeah. All right, neighbors. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Thanks,
Bye.
Sheima.
Thanks.
Bye. Boy, we made it through that whole time.